Hello and welcome to Reportage with Danish bin Nabi. Dialogue and peace has taken a severe backlash in last few years. Whosoever talks about these two terms is being labeled as the anti-national in the hyper-nationalism discourse. So in this segment of Reportage, I shall be talking to a peacenik who has a deep understanding of the issues between India and Pakistan, including Jammu and Kashmir. He is none other than Sudhindra Kulkarni. Let's listen in. Mr. Kulkarni, how important is it to normalize relations with Pakistan for the communal harmony in India?
First of all, Danish Bhai, I'm very happy to be joining you in this discussion. And let me confess that this is the first time I am having a program like this with a journalist sitting in Srinagar. So that gives me great happiness. Now, coming to your question, India and Pakistan are neighbors. I had the privilege of working very closely with our former Prime Minister Atal Bihari Vajpayee, who famously said that we can change history, but we cannot change geography. We can change friends, but we cannot change neighbors. So Pakistan is going to be our neighbor. That is a given fact. Moreover, Pakistan is not just our neighbor. After all, this relationship of neighborhood is only 73 years old. Before 1947, we were one undivided India. We have very close social, religious, linguistic, and cultural bonds that tie India and Pakistan. So it is extremely important for India to establish good neighborly relations with Pakistan. It is necessary for India's rise to its full potential, and it is also necessary for Pakistan's rise to its full potential. When India-Pakistan relations are hostile, when they are tense, when they are full of conflict, it has an effect even on our domestic situation in India as well as in Pakistan. Because when there is tension with Pakistan, when there is conflict with Pakistan, either real or manufactured, it disturbs communal relationship in India between Hindus and Muslims. Now, there are not many non-Muslims in Pakistan. The number of Hindus and Sikhs has come down very significantly. But nevertheless, when there is tension with India, it also creates a certain social instability in Pakistan.
Mr. Kulkarni, you have also in one of your recent interviews said that not only the political parties of Pakistan, but the Pakistan Army Chief Qamar Bajwa also wants peace with India. So what's holding India back?
I want to reiterate this point that I had made earlier in my articles, in my interview, that today, when I look at the political establishment of Pakistan, cutting across party divisions and party differences, there is a certain consensus that they all want good relations with India. Of course, this was not the case some decades ago. There was unfortunately a certain anti-India sentiment in Pakistan some years ago, some decades ago. But that has changed, and all major political parties, including the ruling party of Prime Minister Imran Khan, they want good relations with India. Not only the political establishment, but also there are people in the military establishment in Pakistan who desire friendly, peaceful relations with India. And I want to especially mention the incumbent Chief of Army Staff of Pakistan, Bajwa Saab, General Bajwa Saab. I have very closely followed his trajectory, his writings, and whatever he has done. And I am convinced that Bajwa Saab is a man of peace. He wants good relations with India. And let me mention here that some of the positive moves by Pakistan in recent times have had a very strong backing of the military establishment and especially its chief of army staff. To give an example, the Kartarpur Sahib corridor, which was inaugurated in 2019, where uh, the second most important Gurdwara in Pakistan was completely renovated, and it has now been made so beautiful and so big. It is the largest Gurdwara complex in the world. Early last year, I had an opportunity to visit Kartarpur Sahib, and I'm so very impressed. And I'm sure that every Indian who visits Kartarpur Sahib will be similarly impressed.
Why
And it
isn't
happened
India
because
reciprocating?
General Bajwa and the military establishment wanted it to be so good that it creates goodwill among Indians.
Mr. Kulkarni, why isn't India reciprocating it?
Beg your pardon?
Why isn't India going for the peace then? Why is India reluctant?
You see, we should see this in a certain historical context. Right now, the government of Narendra Modi is not responding to positive overtures from Pakistan, and unfortunately, a prolonged deadlock has continued. There is no resumption in bilateral talks. In fact, SARC, the South Asian Association for Regional Cooperation, has been held hostage to the tension between India and Pakistan. It has not had a summit meeting for the last 6 years. The last SARC summit was held in Kathmandu in 2014. So it is necessary that the Indian government positively respond to the overtures, the gestures, and the positive signals from Pakistan. But as I said, we should look at it from a certain historical perspective. There was a fairly long period before Modi became prime minister when India engaged Pakistan in a very optimistic manner, be it Prime Minister Vajpayee or even subsequently Dr. Manmohan Singh. There was a very sincere effort made to achieve a breakthrough in India-Pakistan relations, including an innovative solution to the Kashmir issue itself. So I am sure that the current deadlock is temporary, and I would like to see talks and relations between India and Pakistan resuming at the very earliest.
Mr. Kulkarni, if we look at the last three general elections of Pakistan, India was hardly mentioned to gain votes, be it any party. But it's completely reversed in India. If we look at 2014 elections, 2019 elections, Pakistan is used to gain the votes.
You are right that in recent elections in Pakistan, India is never mentioned in a negative manner. Whereas in the past two elections in India, Pakistan is always projected as an enemy, and the anti-Pakistan feeling is deliberately advanced and promoted for political gains. But I would like to again emphasize that we need to look at it from a certain long-range historical perspective, because there was a time in Pakistani politics when there was intense anti-India feeling. The Pakistani political establishment, the Pakistani military establishment establishment was very intensely anti-India, but the same anti-Pakistan feeling was missing on this side of the border. Now, the equation has changed. In Pakistan, there is a preference, a desire for friendship with India. Unfortunately, that is not being reciprocated by the ruling party, the ruling establishment in India.
How do you rather view Imran Khan? Is he a peacenik? Does he really want peace with India?
I have no doubt that Prime Minister Imran Khan desires peace and cooperative relations with India. I had an opportunity to meet Imran Khan in Islamabad uh, a few months before he became Prime Minister. And I could see that he was really genuine in his desire for peace with India. He said, and in fact, he repeated it later after he became Prime Minister. He said that if India takes one step forward, Pakistan is ready to take two steps forward. It is unfortunate that this has not happened, but his desire for peace has not changed. And I sincerely feel, hope that the current deadlock is broken and relations continue to improve, or at least efforts are made to improve relations through dialogue.
Mr. Kulkarni, do you think Modi can create history by being a statesman, by extending a hand of friendship to Pakistan to resolve all the issues, including Jammu and Kashmir?
Prime Minister Narendra Modi certainly has the mandate of the nation to undertake a very bold initiative to normalize relations with Pakistan. After all, you know that he got a very emphatic mandate in 2014 and a much bigger mandate in 2019. So if he decides to take some bold steps, the nation is going to stand with him. Now, in the last 6.5 years, the Prime Minister's approach to Pakistan has gone through a certain zigzag process, ups and downs, more down than up. We know that in 2015, he made a very dramatic visit to Pakistan on his way back from Kabul, when he met the former Prime Minister Nawaz Sharif at his home in Lahore. Now, it was warmly welcomed by people in India, and I'm sure that it was also welcomed by people in Pakistan. Unfortunately, within a week after that, there was a terrorist attack. Now, that really pushed back the whole dialogue process so badly that now it is used as a reason for not starting dialogue. Now, there is some merit, I must emphasize this, that there is some merit in India's insistence and India's demand that all support to religious extremist groups and terrorist groups must stop in Pakistan. After all, it is undeniable that Pakistan has suffered more on account of terrorism than even India. More people have been killed in Pakistan than in India. More soldiers have been killed in terrorist attacks in Pakistan than in India. So it is in Pakistan's own interest that it puts down with a very heavy hand the forces of terrorism and religious extremism. But the way this whole issue should be looked at is that India-Pakistan relations can improve only when talks resume in an uninterrupted and uninterruptible manner. So even if some incidents take place, the leadership of India and the leadership of Pakistan should continue to engage and make a common determination and a common commitment so that we achieve both a future free of terrorism, a future free of extremism, whether it is extremism in Pakistan or extremism in India.
Mr. Kulkarni, how important are back channels, and are there any talks going on presently via this medium, via back channels?
Back channels are, of course, very important, and we know that during the prime ministership of Atal Bihari Vajpayee and also Dr. Manmohan Singh, there were constant back channel interactions between India and Pakistan, and they were very helpful. After all, it is the back channel that sort of created a broad consensus between India and Pakistan on a certain innovative framework for resolving the Kashmir issue. The Musharraf formula, the 4-point Musharraf formula, whereby the border between India and Pakistan in Kashmir, that is the LOC, was proposed to be made soft and porous. The two regions were meant to be gradually demilitarized, and some kind of a interaction between the two sides of Kashmir would be facilitated. Now, this was a very good move, and it became possible because of a certain sustained back channel interaction. Unfortunately, in the last 6.5 years, there has been no back channel interaction, and even diplomatic interaction and talks between India and Pakistan have come to a standstill. I would like to emphasize here that not just back channel, what is even more important and necessary and useful is people to people dialogue. The people to people dialogue between India and Pakistan has also come to a standstill. There is hardly any movement of Indians going to Pakistan and Pakistanis coming to India, be it journalists, writers, movie actors, or cultural personalities. Absolutely zero, which is a very sad state of affairs. The more we talk to each other, the more goodwill there will be. Even sports relations have come to a standstill. Now look at the very recent example, how cricket can promote goodwill and friendship between India and Pakistan. When Indian cricket team defeated Australia in the last test at Brisbane and won the series in a spectacular manner, we have seen how there was a certain jubilation in Pakistan. So many TV channels and so many commentators, they praised the Indian cricket team. When it was seen in India, a lot of people were surprised, because in India, unfortunately, we do not show the same generosity of mind and spirit in praising the good things that happen in Pakistan.
But Mr. Kulkarni, why is it so? Why Indians do not show their love to Pakistanis, if at all they love them?
No. You see, it's not that if at all they love them. They certainly love them. Because we should not look at the situation as it exists today. We should take a historical perspective. Even today, it's some forces that are strongly anti-Pakistan, but they do not speak for the entire population of India. Similarly, there were some forces in Pakistan which were staunchly anti-India, but they did not speak for the whole population of Pakistan. There is a lot of goodwill for many aspects of Pakistani culture, Pakistani music, Pakistani art, even Pakistani social service. What is needed is that the media in the two countries should highlight the positive aspects and not feed the negative sentiments.
Mr. Kulkarni, you have written and talked about how in 2005 General Musharraf invited LK Advani to inaugurate a temple in Pakistan. But on the other hand, if we see the demolition of Babri Masjid and the subsequent acquittal of all the accused in the case, do you think it sends a wrong signal and shows India in a bad light internationally?
You see, I was part of LK Advani's family that visited Pakistan in 2005, when, among other engagements, the then BJP president Advani ji was invited by President Musharraf and his government to lay the foundation stone for the restoration of Katas Raj temple near Lahore. These are old temple complex from the Mahabharat time. Now it was a great gesture that the Pakistani government, headed by none other than President Musharraf, invited Advani ji for this purpose. Of course, the Babri Masjid demolition had already taken place. It had taken place in 1992, and Advani ji himself had led the Ayodhya Rath Yatra. In spite of this, Pakistan showed a magnanimity in inviting him to Pakistan. Of course, part of the reason was also because Advani ji was born in Karachi, and he lived the first 20 years of his life in Karachi and in Sindh before moving to India after partition. Now, gestures like these go a long way in creating mutual trust, mutual understanding, and they remove misunderstanding and mistrust. More such gestures need to take place both from the Pakistani side and the Indian side. These have not, unfortunately, happened in the past 6.5 years.
Mr. Kulkarni, if we look at past 6 years, 6.5 years to be precise, how different is present BJP than BJP of Vajpayee?
It is significantly different, very much different. Whatever some people may say about Advani ji, let me tell you that he was a very strong proponent of peaceful relations, cooperative relations between India and Pakistan, and at great risk to himself and his political career, he visited Pakistan in 2005 and he praised Muhammad Ali Jinnah, for which he had to pay a price. As far as Vajpayee ji is concerned, he was so committed to changing the history between India and Pakistan that he undertook a bus yatra to Lahore in 1999. He went again to Pakistan in 2004. He invited Musharraf to visit India and held summit talks at Agra. He was on very friendly terms with Nawaz Sharif. Of course, he also interacted with Imran Khan and other leaders of Pakistan. In fact, in 2004, after he lost the election, he told me personally that had he got one more term, he would have resolved the Kashmir issue and he would have solved the problem between India and Pakistan. So we need that kind of commitment to change history between our two countries. Unfortunately, today's BJP has taken a very different and negative turn.
Mr. Kulkarni, not only the BJP, but Prime Minister Narendra Modi says he doesn't need advice on anything, more importantly on Jammu and Kashmir.
You see, Jammu and Kashmir is an issue which can only be resolved through a dialogue between India and Pakistan, and in a manner that is acceptable to the people of Kashmir. So there is an internal dimension to the Kashmir issue and an external dimension to the Kashmir issue. So anyone who thinks that the Kashmir issue has been already resolved or Pakistan has nothing to do with the Kashmir issue, or that India can take POK, and people in Pakistan who say Kashmir banega Pakistan, as if the whole of Kashmir, including Srinagar, is one day going to be part of Pakistan. All these are fantasies. These are not going to happen. We have to realize that we have to find a solution which is acceptable to India, acceptable to Pakistan, and acceptable to the people of Kashmir themselves. And within this framework, we have to find a solution that is democratic, that is peaceful, and that is humane. Unfortunately, the last 6.5 years have been very disappointing and very negative, and the unconstitutional manner in which Article 370 was scrapped has further complicated the situation. We hope, all of us should hope, the people in India, Pakistan, and Kashmir, we should hope and we should try to once again create a proper atmosphere whereby we come back to a dialogue-based solution to the Kashmir issue.
Sir, in one of your recent tweets, you said that Pakistan should have got the COVID vaccine from India rather than China. Can you please explain it?
It is obvious that the COVID-19 pandemic is a global crisis. It is not limited to any one country. When the entire humanity is faced with a global crisis, it calls for a global solution through a global cooperation. There is no place for vaccine nationalism here. We should rather practice vaccine internationalism. India has produced 2 vaccines. One of them is already being rolled out. The other will be rolled out very soon. India has presented its vaccines to many countries in the world, including our neighbors. Very recently, India has gifted 2 million COVID vaccines to Bangladesh, and of course to other countries in the region. Pakistan is in need of vaccines. Pakistan has sought these vaccines from China, which is a good thing. But why not from India also? In times of crisis like these, humanitarian crisis, neighbors have a duty, neighbors have a dharma to help each other. And therefore, there is nothing wrong in Pakistan seeking help from India, and nothing wrong in India giving help to Pakistan.
Mr. Kulkarni,
Let's remember, let me say one more thing here.
Yeah, please.
See, both India and Pakistan are members of the Shanghai Cooperation Organization. In addition to being members of SAARC, India and Pakistan are members of the Shanghai Cooperation Organization, in which China, of course, has been there right from its inception. So India, China, Pakistan should cooperate, not only in fighting COVID-19, but India, China, Pakistan should cooperate on a whole range of issues. That's why I have been saying, I'm one of the very few Indians who has been saying this, that India should join the China-Pakistan Economic Corridor. India should join the Belt and Road Initiative. So if our 3 countries come together, we can change the whole destiny of South Asia. And a beginning can be made in the area of COVID-19 vaccine cooperation.
Mr. Kulkarni, point taken. My last question of the interview. You are a peacenik and an advocate of India-Pakistan friendship. Do you see your dream shattering as India is changing day by day now?
No. I am not disappointed. My dream is not shattered. Of course, there are difficulties along the way, but we should be prepared to face all such difficulties. Basically, we should have a very firm faith in the goal of India-Pakistan friendship, Pakistan peace. Let me tell you that behind me, you can see a painting of Mahatma Gandhi. Do you see the painting?
Yes, I do, sir.
You know, Mahatma Gandhi was a great man of peace. He, even after 1947, he wanted peaceful relations between India and Pakistan, just as he wanted friendly, brotherly relations between Hindus and Muslims. Ultimately, he was assassinated by a Hindu fanatic. Now, Mahatma Gandhi said his desire was to go to Pakistan. Of course, he had gone to East Pakistan, to Noakhali, which is now in Bangladesh, but he also wanted to go to West Pakistan with a message of peace. And he said that, you see, what a brave man he was. He said that both India and Pakistan are my country. I feel as much for Pakistan as I do for India. And I have the same vision. I believe that India, Pakistan, Bangladesh, Sri Lanka, we are all one family. Nepal, Afghanistan, we all should work together for peace in this region. All our religions, be it Hinduism, Islam, Sikhism, they preach peace. So let us rediscover our civilizational wisdom and work tirelessly for peace, and it is ultimately going to happen, because God alone is the decider of the fate of nations, and God wants peace between India and Pakistan.
Mr. Kulkarni, on this positive note, let's end this discussion over here. Thank you for joining.
Thank you.